in the poshest corner of Charleston, billionaire Adrian Cole had it all. Wealth, charisma, influence, and a rotating line of women who never said no. Yet one afternoon, everything shifted. A housekeeper, a fleeting glance, a quiet smile that unsettled him far more than any scandal ever could. This isn't just a tale of love. It's about awakening, redemption, and the one woman brave enough to refuse a billionaire and show him how to truly feel. The sun spilled across the rolling hills of Fairview, just outside Charleston, casting a warm, golden glow on the sprawling estate. The mansion, if you could call it that, stretched across acres of manicured lawns. White marble pillars, wrought iron balconies curling like black lace over every window. Inside, everything shone. Polished floors, glittering chandeliers, and the silent hum of wealth that never needed to announce itself. Adrian Cole had it all. At 32, the tech magnate had built his empire through early cryptocurrency ventures and a string of green energy companies. With movie star looks, a devil-may-care smile, and a bank balance to match, Adrian could enter a gala and instantly command the room. Women adored him. Men envied him. Society forgave him. He believed in no limits, no consequences, and certainly not in love. It was a Wednesday morning when he first noticed her. He shouldn't have been home. He was scheduled to charm a senator's daughter in Atlanta. But fatigue, or perhaps boredom, kept him in Charleston. Barefoot, clad in silk pajama pants, sipping a protein shake, he wandered into the breakfast room and saw her through the doorway leading to the grand hall. She hadn't noticed him. She wore a simple grey uniform, her natural curls pinned loosely atop her head. Wireless earbuds peeked out as she swept the floor in a rhythm only she could hear, hips swaying, lips humming softly, completely absorbed in her task. Adrian blinked, captivated. She was beautiful, not the surgically perfect beauty he was used to, but real. Her skin glowed, her figure strong and natural, reminiscent of the sculptures he'd once admired without truly seeing. He watched as she danced her broom into a corner, laughing softly to herself. Something stirred in him, a sharp, unfamiliar feeling. By the next morning, he had cancelled another meeting. By week's end, Adrian found excuses to linger around the house. A chance encounter near the wine cellar, the garden, the gym where she polished mirrors. Each time he tried a line, playful and teasing, but she barely reacted, offering only polite nods and subtle smiles. Frustration and fascination intertwined. Her name was Lila Morgan, 27, raised in East Charleston, balancing her duties as a live-in housekeeper while finishing her degree in finance. The butler had warned Adrian. Sweet, yes, but not someone to toy with. Naturally, he was drawn to her even more. One sultry afternoon, as cicadas hummed and the house lay still, he found her in the upstairs library, dusting shelves. Leaning against the doorway, arms crossed, he watched. "You know," he said casually, "I've been thinking about you." Lila paused, one eyebrow raised. "Oh, really?" Adrian stepped forward, all charm and cologne. "I find you fascinating, refreshing. If I offered you $10,000, would you spend a night with me?" The silence hit harder than any slap. Lila straightened, expression unreadable. "Excuse me?" "I'm serious," he said, suddenly uncertain. "No strings. Just enjoy each other. You could use it for school. Win-win." Her eyes narrowed. "Is that how you see me? As a transaction?" "Caught off guard," he stammered. She cut him off, calm but firm. "And don't think every woman is waiting for your money or attention." He tried to brush it off. "Come on, Lila. Don't be so rigid." Stepping closer, eyes fierce, she said, "Let me be clear, Mr. Cole. I don't care how rich you are. I want none of your money, your bed, or shallow compliments. I have standards, goals, and if this job means tolerating this, I'll quit today." And just like that, she turned and walked away. Adrian froze. No woman had ever rejected him. She had looked him in the eye and made him feel small, and for reasons he didn't understand, he couldn't stop thinking about her. The days that followed were awkward. Lila remained professional, never rude, but distant, moving like a shadow just beyond Adrian's reach. He watched her through the windows as she hung laundry beneath the willow trees, noticed how the other staff brightened around her, and heard her humming while cooking in the servants' kitchen late at night. He realized he missed her genuine smile, the one that wasn't bought or rehearsed. By midweek, Adrian found himself lingering in odd corners of the mansion, folding napkins in the dining room, rearranging books, or accidentally bumping into her in the garden. Each time he tried new lines. "You always hum while you work." Or, "Am I just lucky today?" Or, "How does a woman look so elegant while mopping the floor?" But Lila barely glanced at him, her muted smiles and polite nods only fueling his intrigue. She was unlike any woman he had ever met. Her story fascinated him. Lila Morgan, 27, had grown up in East Charleston and worked her way through school while serving as a live-in housekeeper. She had grit, ambition, and an honesty that Adrian had never encountered among the polished socialites he frequented. The more he learned about her, the more impossible she became to ignore. One quiet afternoon, Adrian found her in the library again, dusting the shelves. He leaned against the doorway, arms folded. "I owe you an apology," he said softly. Lila didn't look up. "For what?" "For disrespecting you." "I was arrogant and out of line." She paused, glancing at him warily. "Why are you really talking to me, Mr. Cole?" "I haven't stopped thinking about you since that day, not in the way you probably assume." "I want to understand you. You're not like anyone I know." Lila studied him, her expression softening slightly. "That's because you don't know real people," she said quietly. Her words struck him harder than he expected. "Can I ask you something?" he said. She nodded. "Do you ever wonder why I'm like this?" Lila tilted her head. "I assume it's because you can be. Money, looks, power, you've never had to change." A bitter smile tugged at his lips. "That's true. But there's more. When I was 6, my mother died suddenly of cancer. My father was devastated and didn't know how to grieve, so he dragged me along into a world of bars, clubs, women, saying it would make me tougher. By 16, I'd been through things I shouldn't have, not for love, just control, distraction. Now, sometimes I don't even know who I am alone." Lila's voice softened. "Maybe it's time you find out." That night, Adrian sat on the balcony, gazing over the quiet estate. The world outside remained the same, but he felt different. He had spent years pretending to be untouchable, but one woman, one housekeeper, had undone him in a matter of days. And oddly, he didn't feel anger. He felt free. Inside the mansion, nothing had changed, yet everything had. To the public, Adrian Cole remained the untouchable golden billionaire. Women still sent invitations wrapped in silk. His face still graced magazines. But within the walls of Fairview, he noticed her, Lila Morgan, the woman who had looked him in the eye and said no. The one who didn't flinch at his wealth, looks, or reputation. She carried herself with quiet confidence, and Adrian, who had once equated money with value, was beginning to understand the difference. It started with small things. Adrian began helping Lila carry groceries from the kitchen entrance, something the staff had never seen him do. He offered to fix a cabinet handle in the laundry room, fumbling with duct tape and laughing when she teased him. One rainy afternoon, he even sat beside her as she peeled apples for a pie, casually asking what kinds of books she liked to read. Lila was skeptical. "I don't need a new project." she warned. "I'm not trying to make you one." He replied softly, "I just want to become someone worthy of your respect." Her eyes searched his. Then slowly she handed him an apple and a paring knife. "You peel, I season." Bit by bit, a new rhythm formed between them. They shared coffee in the back garden during quiet mornings, laughing over stories from his childhood, like the time he tried impressing a girl at boarding school by jumping off a roof and broke his wrist. In turn, she told him about her mother's gospel choir, and how she would sneak into the music room at church to play piano when no one was watching. One afternoon, while arranging books in the library, Adrian spotted her old college textbook hidden behind a row of hardcovers. The pages were frayed, notes scrawled in the margins. "You study finance?" he asked. She looked embarrassed. "I'm finishing my degree part-time. Night classes mostly. I could help you if you want," he offered. "I'm not bad with numbers." She smiled but said nothing. Later that evening, Adrian found a note on his desk in her neat handwriting. "What's the formula for compound interest again?" He scribbled back, "You already compound interest in me." Lila rolled her eyes but blushed anyway. Then came the storm. Thunder cracked the sky late one Saturday night, rain hammering the estate and knocking out the power temporarily. Candles were lit, staff checked for leaks, and Adrian found Lila in the conservatory curled on a bench beside a tall fern, reading by flashlight. "You okay?" he asked, drying his hair with a towel. "Fine. I love storms," she said, patting the space beside her. "They make everything feel honest." He sat near her, careful not to crowd her. She turned off the flashlight, and they sat in silence, the only sound the rain against the windows. "I never used to sit still," Adrian admitted. "Always moving. Business, parties, women. I thought being busy meant I was winning." "What changed?" she asked softly. "You," he said, almost quietly. "I've been seeing a therapist. You suggested it, and I took it seriously. For once, I wanted to be better for someone, not because I was lonely, but because I was tired of being fake." Lila turned to face him, the lightning flashes illuminating her silhouette. "What did the therapist say?" "That I confused desire with validation. That I crave approval because I never mourned my mother. That I used charm as armor." Lila's hand brushed his wrist. "That's brave," she whispered. Adrian looked at their hands, then back into her eyes. "Being around you makes me want to tell the truth." The moment stretched. He could have kissed her, wanted to, but instead leaned back, letting her hand rest on his. After that night, they were no longer merely employer and housekeeper. They were something else, not lovers, not quite friends, but drawn to each other like moons orbiting the same sun. As days turned into weeks, their bond grew in subtle ways. Adrian no longer disappeared on weekend trips or threw lavish parties. Instead, he spent evenings in the garden with Lila, reading the books she recommended, or helping her prepare presentations for her classes. He learned to listen, not just hear, and began understanding life outside his golden bubble. One evening, Lila stood before him in the library, practicing a speech for her business ethics course. When she finished, Adrian clapped. "You're incredible." "Truly brilliant." "I'm in awe," she corrected, smiling. That smile lingered longer than it ever had before, filling the mansion with warmth instead of emptiness. But the past didn't vanish without a fight. One morning, Adrian discovered Selena Hart, a notorious supermodel and former flame, lounging on his sofa with a smirk. "Security let me in," she teased. "I heard you've gone soft." "Is it true? You should leave," Adrian said calmly. Selena laughed. "You're serious?" "We had fun. Fun isn't enough anymore, he replied, glancing toward the hallway where Lila appeared carrying a tray. He smiled. She happened. Selena's eyes fell on Lila, now standing in a simple blouse and jeans, composed and calm. Her smirk faded. She's your maid? The only person in this house who sees me, Adrian said. Lila paused but said nothing. Selena scoffed, finished her drink, and stormed out. Later, Adrian found Lila on the front porch swing, her book resting unread in her lap. Did I embarrass you? He asked, sitting beside her. No, she said, looking up. You surprised me. How so? You meant what you said about me in front of her? I meant every word, he replied. A quiet breeze passed through the porch. I was scared to like you, she confessed. Why? Because I didn't want to be someone you'd try to fix, then forget. Lila, you didn't make me change, Adrian said gently. You inspired me too. She looked down, and he lifted her chin. I'm not perfect. Still learning. But if you let me, I'll spend every day trying to be the man you deserve. Tears welled in her eyes, and she smiled. Then try, Adrian. He leaned in slowly, and this time she didn't stop him. Their first kiss was soft, earnest, and full of promise. The mansion, once cold and silent, now felt alive. Laughter and quiet footsteps replaced emptiness. Adrian no longer saw trophies, chandeliers, or luxury cars. He saw Lila, the woman who had shown him how to feel. From that night on, they moved together in a gentle rhythm. Morning coffees turned into long breakfasts on the patio. Evenings became hours of shared music, stories, and dreams. Lila spoke of her father, who left when she was 3, and the struggles her mother endured. Adrian listened, truly listened. He began attending her classes in secret, sitting in the back of finance lectures, leaving a hot latte for her afterward. You're ridiculous, she laughed one day. I'm invested, he said simply, and slowly the mansion became a home, not a gilded cage. The relationship deepened naturally, each moment weaving trust and affection. One weekend, Adrian planned a surprise trip to a vineyard just outside Charleston. They stayed in a cozy cottage surrounded by rolling hills, grapevines, and starlit skies. One evening, wrapped in a blanket on the porch, he turned serious. I want to ask you something, he said. Lila smiled. You're not offering money again, are you? He chuckled. No, that Adrian is long gone. She waited, curious. Go on. I want you by my side, not as my housekeeper, not just as my partner, but as the woman I trust with my future. I want you to join my company's board and eventually help lead one of the foundations I'm building. Your mind is brilliant, Lila, and your heart is why I even have one again. Tears welled in her eyes. You really believe in me like that? I do. You've changed everything. When they returned, news spread quickly. Society was stunned. Adrian Cole, Charleston's infamous billionaire bachelor, was in love with his housekeeper. Yet when they appeared together, arm in arm and glowing, no one dared challenge them. Lila stunned in a simple yet elegant black gown at a charity gala, and Adrian never let go of her hand. Former flames attempted to claw their way back, but he shut them down with one sentence. I'm taken, heart, soul, and future. Weeks later, Adrian planned a formal evening date. Lila emerged in a wine-colored silk gown, soft waves pinned back, her eyes sparkling with questions. The courtyard was transformed, lanterns in the trees, a jazz trio near a fountain, candlelight lining the stone path. In the center stood a white velvet chair and a single red rose. I once thought love was a game, a transaction, Adrian said, taking her hand. But you taught me patience, healing, and what it truly means to see someone. He knelt, revealing a platinum and rose gold filigree ring with a dazzling oval diamond. "I want the man you helped me become. I want a future with you. Lila Morgan, will you marry me?" "Yes," she whispered, tears falling freely. 1,000 times yes. The estate erupted in quiet applause from the staff watching from the shadows. They kissed beneath the lanterns, the music swelling around them. The wedding was a celebration of Southern elegance, held on the estate grounds beneath a glass canopy, magnolia trees, and gold chandeliers. Guests from Charleston's elite arrived in designer gowns and tailored tuxedos. When Lila walked down the aisle in a pearl-beaded gown, natural curls crowned with a vintage veil, she was breathtaking, regal, and radiant. Adrian, in a crisp white tuxedo, could barely contain his emotion. Their vows were simple, but profound. "Morris, I thought I had everything until you showed me what I was missing," she said. "Lila, I thought I had to fight for love." "You made me feel I could rest in it." They kissed as gospel choirs and strings played. Fireworks lit the Charleston sky that night, and Adrian held her close. "Do you regret saying yes?" he asked. "I regret not slapping you harder that first day," she replied, laughing. Their honeymoon was a dream. Paris first, with dinners atop the Eiffel Tower, boat rides along the Seine, kisses in quiet alleys serenaded by accordion players. Then Dubai, 5-star resorts, desert safaris, rooftop pools, and sunsets that seemed unreal. Laughter replaced the loneliness that had once filled their lives. On the last morning of the trip, on a private terrace overlooking the sea, Adrian handed Lila a small white box. Inside were tiny knitted booties. "I took 2 tests," she whispered, her hand flying to her mouth. "I already knew," Adrian said, smiling. "You were glowing differently." 1 year later, the estate was brighter and fuller. Under the willow tree, Lila rocked in a wicker chair with their baby in her arms. Their daughter, Adrian Cole, had Adrian's eyes and Lila's smile. Adrian sat at their feet, tracing lazy circles on her leg. "I used to think legacy was about money," he murmured. "And now?" He looked at Lila and their daughter. "Now I know it's about love." She leaned down, kissing his forehead. "Welcome home, Mr. Cole. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please like, share, and subscribe to Boundless Echoes for more interesting stories. Also, comment where you are watching from, so we can give you a special shout-out. We appreciate your support. See you in the next video.